Aldi employees have started talking, and what they are saying about what happens to senior shoppers inside those stores every single day is something the company would very much prefer stayed behind the register. These are not minor inconveniences. These are deliberate design decisions, pricing mechanisms, and store layout strategies that consistently extract more money from senior shoppers than those shoppers ever realize they are spending. 13 tricks, exposed completely. Starting right now. 13. The cart quarter system is designed to disorient first-time senior visitors. Most people who have shopped Aldi for years treat the quarter cart deposit as second nature. They keep a quarter in their car, on their keychain, or in a dedicated pocket of their wallet, and the system never costs them a second thought. But former Aldi employees describe something very different happening to senior shoppers who are visiting the store for the first time or returning after a long absence. The quarter requirement creates an immediate moment of confusion and mild distress at the entrance of the store, before the shopping trip has even begun. A senior who arrives without a quarter faces the choice of returning to their car, asking a stranger for change, or abandoning the trip entirely. Former employees describe watching this scenario play out repeatedly, particularly with older shoppers who are not accustomed to the deposit system and who experience the moment as a small but real humiliation rather than a simple operational quirk. What makes this relevant beyond simple inconvenience is the cognitive and emotional cost of that opening disruption. Research on shopping behavior consistently demonstrates that shoppers who experience stress or confusion at the entrance of a store make faster and less considered purchasing decisions once they are inside, because the mental energy spent resolving the entrance problem is energy no longer available for price comparison and deliberate selection. The quarter is the first moment Aldi's design works against the senior shopper. What is coming at number 12 is where the financial damage starts to become real. And it involves something happening right at the beginning of every single shopping trip that almost no senior ever notices. 12. The store layout forces seniors. Past high margin. Items before reaching essentials. Walk into any Aldi location and pay attention to what sits between the entrance and the basic grocery staples most seniors come in to buy. Former employees describe the store layout as a deliberate sequencing decision that places the highest margin non-essential items, the Aldi Find section, seasonal displays, and specialty products directly in the path a shopper must travel before reaching the refrigerated staples and dry grocery items that constitute most seniors' actual shopping list. This is not an accident of store design. It is a deliberate retail strategy that Aldi shares with virtually every major grocery chain, but that operates with particular effectiveness on senior shoppers who are more likely to browse carefully, more likely to be influenced by visible pricing that appears dramatically lower than what they are used to seeing at other stores, and more likely to add unplanned items to their cart based on perceived value rather than need. Former employees describe watching seniors enter the store with a list of 6 items and exit having purchased 14, with the additional 8 coming almost entirely from the finds section and seasonal display that sit between the entrance and the grocery aisles. The perceived savings on each individual unplanned item feel real in the moment. The total receipt tells a different story. If you have not subscribed yet, now is the moment. This channel exposes exactly this kind of knowledge, the store strategies and pricing mechanisms that cost seniors real money every single week without anyone explaining what is actually happening. Hit that subscribe button right now, because what is coming at number 11 is something that happens at the shelf level on every single aisle, and that costs the average senior shopper more than any other single trick on this list. 11. Eye-level shelf placement systematically pushes seniors toward higher-priced options. The retail principle of eye-level placement is one of the most thoroughly researched and consistently documented phenomena in consumer behavior science. Products placed at eye level sell faster, get selected more often, and generate more revenue per shelf position than products placed above or below that optimal height. Every major grocery retailer applies this principle deliberately in their planogram design, and Aldi is no exception. What makes eye-level placement particularly significant for senior shoppers is the physical dimension that most retail behavior research does not specifically address. For seniors with mobility limitations, joint pain, or balance considerations, bending to reach lower shelves or stretching to access upper shelves creates a physical cost that influences purchasing behavior as directly as the visual prominence of eye-level products. The product that is easiest to reach without physical discomfort is the product that gets selected, regardless of whether it represents the best value on that shelf. The dollar difference between the eye-level selection and the lower shelf alternative varies by category, but former employees describe it as meaningful and consistent across the store. A senior who selects only from eye level across a full weekly shop at Aldi is paying more than necessary on virtually every aisle, not because the lower shelf products are inferior, but because the shelf architecture was designed to make the higher margin option feel like the natural and effortless choice. That shelf architecture is silently inflating senior grocery bills on every single visit. What is coming at number 10 is something former employees describe as one of the most deliberately timed pressures in the entire store. 10. The checkout speed creates deliberate pressure that prevents price verification. Aldi's checkout speed is legitimately impressive by any retail standard, and the operational efficiency it produces is a real and meaningful contributor to the store's ability to maintain low prices across its product range. Former employees describe the Cashier training program as placing significant emphasis on scanning speed, throughput per hour, and queue management in ways that genuinely serve the store's cost structure. But that same speed creates a specific and measurable problem for senior shoppers who need more time to process what is appearing on the checkout screen. Compare it against the prices they noted at the shelf, and identify discrepancies before the transaction closes. Former employees describe the checkout experience as one designed around a scanning pace that outstrips the ability of most senior shoppers to simultaneously monitor the screen, manage their payment, respond to the cashier, and retain the mental record of what each item was supposed to cost. By the time a receipt is in hand and a senior has a moment to review it without competing demands on their attention, the transaction is closed and the practical window for catching and correcting errors has passed. The specific financial impact of this speed dynamic is difficult to quantify precisely, but former employees describe price discrepancies between shelf tags and register prices as occurring more frequently than most shoppers assume, particularly in the first day or two of a new weekly ad cycle when not every price change has fully propagated through the register system. The shopper who cannot monitor the screen during scanning pays the error price without ever knowing the correct price was available. That checkout speed is silently collecting overcharges one transaction at a time. What is coming at number 9 is something that former employees describe as the most psychologically sophisticated trick in the store, and it specifically targets the way seniors evaluate value. 9. The Finds section uses artificial scarcity to manufacture urgency in senior shoppers. The Aldi Finds section is one of the most brilliantly designed retail environments in mainstream grocery, and former employees who have worked both the stocking and the customer-facing side of that section describe it with a mixture of genuine admiration for its effectiveness and discomfort about what that effectiveness costs the shoppers it works best on. The mechanism is artificial scarcity combined with genuine limited availability. Finds items are truly limited in quantity and duration, which gives the scarcity signals used to merchandise them a foundation of truth. But the way those signals are deployed, the limited time language, the single unit remaining shelf gaps, the absence of restock timelines posted anywhere a customer can see them, is specifically designed to accelerate purchasing decisions and prevent the kind of considered evaluation that would lead some shoppers to put an item back. The financial result is unplanned spending on items that frequently do not get used after purchase, because the decision to buy was driven by urgency rather than by genuine need or considered preference. Former employees describe the storage room that builds up in many senior homes, unused finds purchases that looked compelling at the shelf and unnecessary at home, as one of the most consistent outcomes of this section's design. What is coming at number 8 is something that former employees describe as a trick so simple it almost does not deserve the word, yet it costs senior shoppers money on every single weekly visit without a single one of them realizing it is happening. 8. The weekly ad creates the illusion that non-sale items are also discounted. Aldi's weekly ad is a genuine savings mechanism for the specific items it features, and the discounts it advertises are real and meaningful reductions on the products they apply to. Former employees are clear on this point. The weekly ad savings are not fictional. What is fictional, or at least misleading, is the halo effect those genuine savings cast over the rest of the shopping trip. Former employees describe a consistent pattern in senior shopping behavior where the experience of seeing multiple genuinely good deals in the weekly ad creates a general impression that the entire store is operating at a discount level that any item selected will reflect. This impression is inaccurate and expensive, The weekly ad covers a specific and limited set of products. Everything outside that set is priced at its standard shelf price, which at Aldi is still lower than most conventional grocery stores, but which is not at the sale level that the weekly ad creates an expectation of. Former employees describe seniors filling their carts with items that are not on the weekly ad, while operating under the assumption that the good deal energy of the advertised items extends to their total purchase. The receipt at the end of that trip reflects standard pricing on the majority of items, but the mental accounting that led to those selections was calibrated against a sale price expectation that simply did not apply. That perception gap costs seniors money on every trip where the weekly ad is doing its job too well. What is coming at number 7 will make you look at Aldi's markdown system in a way you have never considered before. 7. Markdown tags are positioned to obscure the original price. From senior eye lines, Aldi's clearance and markdown tags deliver real savings on real products, and former employees consistently describe the markdown system as one of the store's most genuine senior-friendly features. The discounts are not cosmetic. The price reductions on clearance items represent meaningful savings on products that were already priced competitively before the markdown was applied. What former employees also describe with considerably less enthusiasm is the way those markdown tags are physically positioned on the shelf in ways that frequently obscure the original price from the eye line of a senior shopper evaluating the deal. A markdown tag that shows the reduced price prominently in large numerals while printing the original price in smaller text at an angle or beneath a fold creates a display that communicates the savings without clearly communicating what those savings represent as a percentage of what the item actually cost before the reduction. A senior who sees a price of $2 on a markdown tag and assumes the markdown represents a significant reduction from a much higher original price may be looking at a product that was originally priced at $2.50, making the markdown considerably less dramatic than the tag's visual design implies. The reverse is also possible, with genuine and significant markdowns presented in ways that do not effectively communicate the depth of the savings to a shopper whose visual processing speed is reduced by age-related changes. The result is a markdown system that former employees describe as operating less transparently than it appears, with tag design choices that serve the store's visual merchandising goals more consistently than they serve the senior shopper's need for clear and complete pricing information. Hit that like button. Right now, if what you are hearing is making you see your Aldi trips in a completely different light, every trick still left on this list is something that has been costing you money without anyone ever explaining it. One tap. Do it now. Because what is coming at number 6 involves something that former employees describe as the single most financially damaging trick on this entire list, and it operates completely invisibly until the moment someone sits down and does the math. 6. The unit price absence forces seniors into guessing on value comparisons. Walk through any Aldi aisle and look for unit pricing on the shelf tags. The per ounce, per count, or per unit cost that conventional grocery stores are required by many state regulations to display prominently alongside the item price. At Aldi, the unit pricing situation is considerably less consistent than at most conventional competitors, and former employees describe the gaps in unit price display as creating a comparison environment that systematically disadvantages shoppers who are trying to evaluate whether a given size or format represents genuinely better value than the alternative sitting next to it. For senior shoppers who are managing grocery spending carefully and who rely on unit price information to make considered decisions between a 12-ounce and an 18-ounce version of the same product, or between two different brands in the same category where the package sizes do not align, the absence of consistent unit pricing forces a mental calculation that many seniors find difficult to perform accurately under the time pressure of a moving shopping trip. Former employees describe this gap as producing consistent and predictable errors in senior purchasing decisions, with shoppers selecting the larger package assuming it represents better value, when the unit price calculation would reveal the smaller package to be the more economical choice, or vice versa. The errors go in both directions, but they consistently result in seniors spending more than they would have spent with complete and clearly displayed unit pricing available. The practical financial impact of this trick compounds across every category where a size or format choice exists, which in a typical Aldi shop means the majority of the items in the cart. Former employees describe the cumulative overspend from unit price guessing across a full weekly shop as one of the most significant and least visible financial losses senior Aldi shoppers experience on every single visit. What is coming at number 5 is something that hits seniors at a moment when they are least prepared to defend against it. And it involves the specific interaction that happens at the register more often than any former employee was comfortable describing without some level of visible discomfort. 5. Cashier. Upselling on reusable bags. Targets. Seniors. Who forgot? Preparation. Aldi's bag policy is one of the store's most well-known operational features. Shoppers provide their own bags or purchase them at the register, and the absence of complimentary bagging reflects the same cost reduction philosophy that drives every other aspect of Aldi's operational model. Former employees describe the bag policy as genuine and consistent, not a trick in itself. What former employees do describe as a trick is the specific way the bag upsell at the register is timed and presented to seniors who arrive without their own bags. The moment of maximum vulnerability for a senior shopper is the checkout counter, where the cart has already been filled, the decision to purchase all of its contents has already been made, and the social pressure of a line forming behind them creates urgency around completing the transaction quickly. At that moment, a cashier who asks whether the shopper would like to purchase bags is presenting the question in a context where saying no creates a logistical problem the senior has no good solution to. The groceries need to get home. The bags cost something. The senior pays for them without ever having had a real opportunity to prepare for or plan around that cost in the way they would have if the bag requirement had been clearly communicated before they entered the store and filled their cart. Former employees describe this checkout moment as producing some of the most visibly uncomfortable interactions they witnessed with senior shoppers, not because the bag price is significant in isolation, but because the combination of surprise, social pressure, and the logistical trap of a full cart with no carrying solution creates a coercive quality that the policy itself does not require. What is coming at number 4 is something that happens after the senior leaves the store, and it is arguably the most insidious trick on this entire list because it operates entirely outside the shopping experience itself. 4. The fines return window is too short for seniors to identify. Quality problems. Aldi's return policy is genuinely generous by most retail standards, and the twice-as-nice guarantee on eligible private label products represents one of the most customer-favorable return policies in grocery retail. Former employees are consistent in describing the return system as functional and fairly administered when a customer actually uses it. The problem former employees identify is not with the return policy itself, but with the practical return window as it applies to fines items, which are the non-grocery special byproducts that sit in the middle aisle and generate a significant portion of senior impulse purchasing. Fines items that turn out to have quality issues, sizing problems, or functional failures often reveal those problems only after the item has been used, assembled, or laundered, which for many senior shoppers happens days or weeks after the original purchase. By the time a quality issue becomes apparent, the limited-time nature of fines items means the product is often no longer on the shelf, the transaction has receded in the senior's memory, and the receipt may no longer be in a location the senior can quickly locate. Former employees describe the rate at which fines return opportunities are successfully exercised by senior shoppers as significantly lower than the rate at which return-eligible quality issues actually occur, because the practical barriers to completing a return increase with the time elapsed since purchase. The financial result is a collection of fines items in senior homes that were purchased with the implicit understanding that Aldi's return policy provided a safety net, but that sit unused and unreturned because the practical window for successfully exercising that safety net closed before the problem became apparent. What is coming at number 3 is something so deeply embedded in Aldi's operational model that most former employees did not recognize it as a trick until they left the company and started shopping elsewhere. 3. The limited SKU model creates false confidence in price. Comparisons. Aldi's business model deliberately limits the number of products available in any given category, typically offering 1 or 2 options where a conventional supermarket would offer 8 to 12. Former employees describe this as one of the most effective cost reduction strategies in retail, genuinely producing operational savings that flow through to shelf prices in real and meaningful ways. What former employees also describe is the way this limited selection model manipulates senior shoppers' ability to make genuine value comparisons. When only one option exists in a category, the price of that option cannot be evaluated against competitors within the same store. The senior shopper has no reference point for whether the single pasta sauce available represents extraordinary value or merely average pricing, presented in a context where no alternative is visible for comparison. For seniors who have spent decades developing price awareness across a full range of competing products in every category, the Aldi model removes the comparison framework entirely and replaces it with an environment where the only available judgment is whether the single available price feels low in absolute terms, rather than whether it represents genuinely superior value relative to alternatives. Former employees describe this as creating a shopping environment where senior price awareness, one of the most valuable cognitive tools an experienced shopper brings to any grocery trip, becomes significantly less useful because the conditions required for that awareness to produce accurate judgments have been deliberately removed. What is coming at number 2 is something former employees describe as the most emotionally uncomfortable trick to discuss, because it involves a specific and recurring interaction with senior shoppers that former staff found genuinely difficult to participate in. 2. The sampling and demonstration strategy creates social obligation to purchase. Aldi periodically introduces product sampling and in-store demonstrations for new or featured products, and former employees describe these moments as among the most effective sales tools the store deploys, particularly in their impact on senior shoppers, whose social conditioning around hospitality and reciprocity makes the post-sample purchase dynamic particularly powerful. The mechanism is simple and ancient. A shopper who accepts a sample from a staff member or demonstration host experiences a social obligation dynamic that consumer behavior researchers have documented extensively across retail categories. The obligation is not contractual or explicit. It is social and emotional, rooted in the same reciprocity instinct that governs human interaction generally. A small gift creates a felt need to give something in return, and in a retail environment, the currency available for that return is a purchase. Former employees describe senior shoppers as the demographic most visibly affected by this dynamic, accepting samples with genuine appreciation and then purchasing the featured product even when their pre-sample evaluation of the item would not have led to that purchase. The financial scale of any individual transaction driven by this dynamic is small. The consistency with which it operates across every sampling event and every senior shopper who participates is what makes it meaningful as a pattern. What is coming at number 1 is the trick that former employees describe as the most systemic, the most deliberate, and the most financially damaging of anything on this list, because it does not require any single interaction to execute. 1. The no price tag clarity on fines. Items forces seniors to make decisions. Without complete information, fines items at Aldi are priced with shelf tags that display the item price clearly and prominently. What those shelf tags frequently do not display clearly is the complete product specification information that would allow a senior shopper to evaluate whether the price represents genuine value relative to comparable products available elsewhere. Former employees describe a consistent pattern in how fines items are tagged and displayed. The price is prominent. The brand, when it exists, is visible. But the specific technical specifications, the material composition, the country of manufacture, the warranty terms, if any, the precise dimensions or capacity of the item. These details are either absent from the shelf display entirely or printed in type sizes and at positions that make them practically inaccessible to a senior evaluating the item in the store. For a senior shopper trying to determine whether a fines kitchen appliance, storage solution, or piece of outdoor equipment represents genuine value at its displayed price, the absence of this specification information forces a purchase decision based on visual impression and price alone. That is a decision-making environment that former employees describe as deliberately maintained rather than accidentally produced, because providing complete specification information would enable the price comparisons that might reduce conversion rates on items where the price is attractive, but the specification comparison would be less favorable. The financial damage from this information gap compounds across every fines purchase a senior makes based on incomplete specification information, producing a collection of items that were selected on price and appearance, but that may not have been selected at all had complete product information been readily available at the point of decision. Former employees describe this as the trick that bothers them most in retrospect, because it operates on the senior shoppers who are most dependent on making careful and well-informed purchasing decisions and who are most systematically denied the information those decisions require. Thanks for watching. Let us know in the comments which one of these tricks you are going to watch for on your very next Aldi visit. Click the next video showing on the left right now to keep getting the inside knowledge that protects your wallet every single time you shop. And if you have not subscribed yet, hit that subscribe button right now so you never miss what we expose next.